Hey, and welcome to the Jessica Paul podcast. I'm your host, Jess Paul, actress, manifestation expert, and mindset coach. And I'm here to share with you all of my secrets on confidence, success, and the magic of manifestation. If you're ready to dive in deep and see more success in your career, more money in your bank account, and more love in your life with a whole new level of freedom, then you're in the right place. I'm letting loose on everything you need to take back control of your life, up-level your mindset, and tap into your manifestation powers. I'm so excited that you're here. Hey gorgeous souls, and welcome back to another episode of the JP podcast. Welcome back. I'm here to bring you all the magic, the miracles, manifestation, mindset tips, everything. And if you're new to the community, then hey girl, lovely to have you with us. And if you're an OG listener, I love you lots. So grateful to you. So grateful that you tune back in every single week. Guys, I don't know whether you can tell in my voice, but I'm feeling super energized today. So I'm sitting down to record this. It's Tuesday. It is the 22nd of the 2nd of 2022. Boom. It is such an aligned time to be alive. Guys, this is, in the spiritual community, this is a major portal to really manifesting everything that you desire into your life. Like today is just full of aligned energy. It's like the day that the universe is conspiring to just hand you over everything. So it's a day that I'm getting super intentional. All of my clients in the academy are getting super intentional. We're scripting, we are meditating, we're journaling, we are just putting everything out there. We are visualizing the fuck out of our dream lives, and we are making it happen. And if you're listening to this, and you know it's Friday when this is released, so if you're listening to this and you didn't do any of that, it's fine, guys, because the energies are still hanging around a lot this month. So February is a time to just get super intentional, just get really, really super intentional. This is very much like all to do with astrology and how the planets are aligned. And this certain date and time is just a very, very significant one because we haven't ever seen anything like this with these numbers, and especially the number 2 lined up in this way like this before, and we'll never have another 2022. So like it's pretty special. So live it, love it, make the freaking most out of your February. So my life update for this week is that I got to premiere a film that I starred in and co-produced over the summer last year. And it was just a whole night of celebration. It was really lovely. Like, again, guys, this is just testament about what you can manifest into your life when you do this inner work and you really go through this process. Because I basically created this this lifestyle for myself where I now get to be involved in creative projects and actually even produce them and be on that side of things, because I have that level of like control now over my life and my creative side and my finances and everything like that. So it was just so lovely. And Dan, the amazing director who I work with, who I have worked with before, he's just such a special, talented guy. I call him a film guru. Like, he's just very talented, and we will definitely be working together again. But it was a lovely evening. We got it up on the big screen. We hosted it at 53.2 in Manchester and had our friends and family come along. And as well, guys, this film has actually been nominated for Best Screenplay, and also one of the actors in there, Tom, has been nominated for Best Actor. So I'm just really sitting into how proud I feel of this, because this is just like the first of many, many more of these things to come. And it was very special to see it up there and to have everybody there with us and celebrating together. So that was my life update. Very excited about that. Gonna have probably more things like that to share with you very soon. So our sponsor for today, guys, is of course the Mindset, Miracles and Money Masterclass that I released last week, and there's already so many of you involved, and I can't wait to get going with this masterclass. Like I said, it's something that's very passionate to me, and I'm literally overflowing with inspiration right now to bring you all of the goodness, all of the juiciness, all of the knowledge on how to manifest more money into your life. So this is on the 3rd of March, 1 p.m. UK time, and this is for all of you amazing business owners, artists, creatives, ambitious women who want to call more money in. It's for all of you. So if you want to get in on it as well, just follow all the links in my show notes. Email me in any questions you have, because we'll have a live Q&A after the event as well. So I'm going to be answering all your questions on the call. But basically, just get on in there, girl, because there is so many people already coming in and you really don't want to miss this. And again, just to answer some of the questions that have been coming in, if you can't make it live, guys, don't worry. I'm going to be reselling this afterwards. So if you want to get in on all of this magic, if you want to learn these energetics and have it all there for you, then I'm going to be reselling this. But the prices will be going up after the event, so very, very soon. So if you want to get in on it, get in on it now. Can't wait to see you all there. Links are in the show notes, and I will see you all for lots of money magic. So guys, today's episode is going to be your loving kick up the ass, because this is something that's been on my heart and on my mind anyway recently, but it's also been inspired by a client of mine and what she's working on herself at the moment. And really, it's all about owning who the fuck you are, right? This episode is all about leaning into the power of your authenticity, who you are as a human being, right? Because you are fucking special. Let's just start it off there. First and foremost, you are so special. There is nobody like you on this earth, right? And because of that, it means that you have to stand up and you have to own who you are and not be afraid to do that, right? Because really, guys, who we are is just a set of beliefs. We are just a set of beliefs, right? And these beliefs, if we believe them enough, begin to become our identity. And I've said this before, like I used to identify as being very anxious. I used to identify as not being good enough at stuff. And that was the reality I was living, right? That was who I was. But you have the power to choose who you are. You have the choice here to create the identity that you want to create. And once you do that and you know who that is, you then get to go and fucking own it, right? And like for years, guys, I actually never used to know who I was authentically. Some of you might relate to that, where you just kind of feel a bit lost. You kind of feel a bit stuck, like, who am I, right? And also, this is something that is so natural when it comes to your spiritual awakening, because you always questioning yourself in that way. Like, why am I even here? Like, what, who actually am I and what am I doing on this earth, right? Those are the kind of like big, expansive questions I used to ask myself, and sometimes still do ask myself, really. But, I really didn't know who I was, especially growing up in high school and, in college as well, drama school for me. And I used to be that girl that would look around at the people that were around me and think, you all know who you are. Like, you've all got your shit together. Like, why don't I know who I am? And they'd have confidence in it too. Just as an example, like, when I was in high school, there was like certain sets of people. There was like the popular crowd, there was like the emo crowd, there was like the geeky crowd, the music crowd, and I guess I was part of the music crowd, to be honest. Like, I was a geeky music girl, but I still didn't feel like I had an identity that really screamed Jess Paul, right? And you guys might relate to that. And really, for me, what I discovered was that I had to look at what I was believing about myself when I was surrounded by these people. And again, like that, I'm talking about high school, but this is as I was growing up in college too. I was in drama school, so I was surrounded by big personalities, and I always felt like I was a background personality. And again, I had to really look at what I was believing about myself. I was believing that I was in the background. I was believing that I was a follower, not a leader, right? All of these things about myself that when I actually picked apart and understood, and again, like I said, believing I was anxious, believing that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't worthy. When I picked them all apart, I realized that that was my identity. That was who I was. And not because I was choosing to be, but because I had just become that way. And from that moment, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be this girl. Who do I want to be, right? Who do I actually want to be? And the first words that came up for me were confident, freaking confident, being able to show up for myself. I mean, that was like the main word that came up for me. But I wanted to be inspiring. I wanted to be impactful. I wanted to be the girl that everybody knew, right? That's who I wanted to be when I was growing up. And, you know, maybe that's some of like my performing side coming out, and I don't know. But I think for me, it was just more of the word that I now identify with is impact. And that's who I want to be as a woman. I want to make an impact. And when I then started like rewiring what I believed about myself in that way, I created this new identity. And that's when I was able to fucking own it. And, you know, I've got this whole module inside my academy where we talk about embodiment and embodying this woman that you want to be, because it's my favorite part of manifestation, guys. And it's also a very, very, very important part of manifestation, because that's really what the law of attraction is, right? It's about believing something before you can see it. You know, and if you get so good at being a visualizer, as a manifestor, being a visualizer, then that's what's going to call it into your 3D world. So you got to believe things before you can even see it. And that means you've got to believe things about yourself before you even feel it in yourself, right? So I had to believe I was that woman. I had to believe I was that confident, freaking bad bitch. Guys, I wake up every single morning and I say to myself in front of my mirror, I am a bad bitch. I say that every day on repeat in front of my mirror, and sometimes throughout the day if I need that extra pick me up throughout the day, because that is the identity that I want to embody. Because here's the thing, guys, you can't own who you are. You can't truly own it and show up as that unless you feel it. Right? And this is why all of this inner work is so important. This is why going inward is so important, because, you know, you have to rewire these beliefs that you are holding about yourself in order to actually fucking feel it. When you tell yourself in front of the mirror, I am that bad bitch, how much do you actually believe that? Because if your whole identity is a set of beliefs, then those beliefs have to be so damn strong in order for them to become a reality for you. And, you know, I had to work so hard on this, right? Because when I first started affirming these things, I did not believe it, okay? Like, literally, I put in a post the other day about how my 3D reality today has literally been shaped by what I believe. But I had to believe that I was a 6-figure business owner before I had my first client, right? I had to believe that I was a successful TV actress before I was on TV. And I had to believe that I had a successful podcast before I even had launched the podcast. Like, these are all the things that I had to believe about myself. And these are all the things you have to believe about yourself too, before they've even happened. But my main message here, right, it's about how you figure out who you are. What is your powerful authenticity? Who is the authentic you? And the only way you can find her is by going in, by going inward. And a really simple way of looking at it is when you go inward and you ask yourself, what makes me feel good? What beliefs right now would make me feel good? And then you've got to take those beliefs about yourself and the world, and you got to fucking own them. And that's as simple as it is. That's your authentic self, because we are literally put on this earth to feel good. So if it makes you feel good to believe that you're a confident bad bitch, if it makes you feel good to believe that you have this successful business, a successful career, if it makes you feel good to believe that things are always flowing freely to you, that you live in a vibrational reality, that the universe has your back, if it makes you feel good to believe all those things, then that's who you are. That is your powerful authenticity coming through. So you really can create any identity you want for yourself. It genuinely is just a case of you deciding who it is you want to be and then becoming her. That is as simple as it is. And, you know, obviously it's easier said than done, and that's why we do all this inner work, and that's why the inner work is so damn important. But I chose to become that bad bitch. I chose her, right? I chose to identify as her because it made me feel good. And because I stepped into that identity of ultimate confidence, I then started to open up my gifts. My gifts were coming through, my authentic gifts, because remember, you are literally a gift to the universe, girl. Like, there is nobody else like you on this planet. So we're all learning from each other. You know, we're all connected, but we're all learning from each other because there's aspects of you that cannot be found in anyone else. And until you can embody your true identity, which for everyone, really, it is that of confidence, because that's what makes us feel good. It is that of empowerment and abundance and success. That's our truth because it makes us feel good, right? So when you can embody that identity and really start moving with her, then all of these gifts come out, and this is how we start to manifest. This is how we start to attract. And this is exactly what happened with me. I changed that identity of anxious and background and not a leader and, you know, all of these things that I used to tell myself. And I stepped into the woman I fucking wanted to be. And that's when you can own it. Because like I said, you can't own who you are until you truly freaking believe in who you are. And actually, this is a really interesting point because this came up in my acting class. And it was about how when you're in a scene on stage and you are truly owning that scene, that character that you're in, you're truly owning it. Like, I was in class the other night and somebody had to get up and we were doing improv, but they started improving this really quite creepy, seedy character. Like, it was a really like icky character, but they freaking owned it. Even though it was icky, they went for it. And because they went for it, we as the audience believed it. As we were watching it, we were like so in it, even though it was uncomfortable. And if this girl had chosen to kind of shy back from that and be like, oh no, this feels icky, like I just won't fully go for this character, it doesn't feel right. Us as the audience, we just would not have believed that scene. And that's because she stood up there in front of the class and she freaking owned it. And that is exactly what this work is about in real life, right? If you can stand up and own the identity that you want to be living in, people will have no choice but to believe you, right? Because this identity it's not necessarily seen in the 3D, it's felt. This is energy, guys. And so when you can show up in that energy, with that identity, people will have no choice but to look at you and believe it. And that's exactly what happened with me. So when I chose this identity, after I'd done all the inner work, because like I said, guys, this is easier said than done. I'm not expecting every single one of you to wake up tomorrow and just be a different person. You know, this takes work and it takes dedication and it takes commitment to your inner work. It takes commitment to diving into those shadows and doing this practice every single freaking day. But once you've done that work for yourself and you do show up, it was almost for me in my life, like, because I was doing all this work in the background, people didn't really know. It was on the down low. And then when I showed up, it was almost as if like it was overnight that I'd showed up as this new woman. And so a lot of people in my circle at the time, they were like, Jess, like, what's happened to you? Like, you've changed. And also at that point, like, a lot of people did leave my life because they couldn't handle the fact that I'd changed my identity. And that's a whole other conversation. But I stood up there and I showed up as that woman and I owned it. And the fact is, people had no choice, even though they were confused, they had no choice but to believe it. From this anxious girl that literally couldn't show up. And I remember the first ever Facebook Live I did for my business, and literally shaking before I went live on Facebook. But when I did it, I switched it on just like I would in acting class. If I am turning on that character and I'm really freaking owning it, I switched it on, and people watching me had no choice but to believe me. And that's how my whole new life was created. And like I said, the most important thing about this is that you're creating an identity for you that feels good. Because when it feels good, that is what is right for you. That is what is natural for you. That is what you were put on this earth to feel. And for me, it feels good to show up as this confident bad bitch. And that's what a lot of my clients are doing now. Like, a lot of my clients are really tuning into this identity, and that's why they're doing so well. Because when you're sitting in your authentic identity, in your authentic self, you attract. The universe has no choice but to bring it to you, because you are vibrating at your true, authentic frequency. So your homework then, guys, is to go and be that bad bitch. Go and be her. Go and affirm her in front of your mirror every single freaking morning. Go and be her. Like, figure out the beliefs that actually make you feel good. If it makes you feel good to be the most confident woman in the room, if it makes you feel good to be the most, to believe that you're the most talented actor in the room, or the most abundant freaking rich wealthy woman on your street, whatever it is that makes you feel good to believe, that's your true authentic belief. So if you're living in the belief that you are a background person, that you just get walked all over, you can't set a boundary. By the way, I've got a whole podcast episode on boundaries. I think it's like at the start. So you can go back and listen to that. But if that's your identity, and the reason I'm using that as an example is because that's something my client was going through, right? She was letting people walk all over, and I said to her, girl, listen, you need to step the fuck up, and you need to own who you are as a woman, because who you are is special. There is nobody like you on this earth. And when you can own the beliefs that make you feel good, that's when you step into your authentic self. And when you step into that woman, people have no choice but to move around you. People have no choice but to move with you. Because when you own it, you fucking believe it. Everybody believes it. Right? So that's your homework. It's to be that bad bitch. Figure out those beliefs. Tag me in your Instagram stories as always, because I love seeing them with your new beliefs, your new identity. What is it? Who are you? Like, who are you choosing to identify as? And go and frickin' embody her, girl. So I hope you've all enjoyed this week's episode and you're feeling fired up and freaking ready to go. And just a little reminder of the Money Mindset Masterclass. If you want to get in on that before the prices go up, then all of the links will be in my show notes. So you can go and find it in there. Get in there, girl, because oh my gosh, so excited about it. There's so many amazing people in there already. And if you've got any questions about it, obviously just drop me a DM. Always happy to chat with you in there. And just go and have the most bad bitch, amazing week you've ever had. Lots of love, guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who you think would love it too. And if you want to let me know how you found it, just screenshot this episode, add it to your Instagram story, and tag me at I am Jessica Paul so that I can throw all the love right back at you. And of course, subscribe, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review to show your support and to keep the good stuff coming. Sending you so much love and gratitude from your girl Jess.